that's your vision, man. Shown by the you've been running circles round me, thinking it would buy some time, but in the end, who comprehends the nature or design?
G'day folks, been a tough day today, tough day for the support crew. We've been sitting around waiting for our riders to come in. Stage 1, Stage 2, Colin's the first one in, he's just rocked up. How'd you go out there today, Col?
It was a tough day. I learnt a few lessons about the bike. So to start off with, I think it was the first 70k section, I actually blew a drive belt. I caught up with Smithy, and other than kicking back and taking it easy, I actually pushed it a little bit too hard, and it still had pretty much full of fuel, and the heavy tyres just too much for the drive belt at about 9,000 RPM. So I learnt that lesson. We just got to, I've got a gauge on the CVT, so I can actually see the temperature, and it got up to 145 degrees Celsius when it blew. So I now know not to let it get that hot.
Okay, well they're pretty tolerant then. Most people wouldn't get them cooking up to 145 degrees. You'd have to be in some pretty extreme conditions.
Yeah, there was just abuse, just flat out abuse. I was holding it flat pretty much, yeah.
Righto, well the other guys had plenty of problems out there. We've had some crashes, we don't know. Like I said, you're the first one in, so...
Yep. I did pass most of the other quads on the side of the road. Everyone was okay, it's just bike problems. So yeah, it's tough, yeah.
Well, that just sounds like Safari then.
That is Safari, yeah.
All right, looks like we've got some componentry missing up around the handlebars. What's happening there, Col?
My tyre pressure monitor was there, but I thought that it would be protected by the road book, but it's actually, there's lots of trees just hanging over, and a tree's caught it and ripped it off, so there's a nice tyre dog somewhere along the road, but I'm not coming back for it.
You'd be worried about your road book too, wouldn't you?
No, the road book's not too bad. I can sort of dodge it. It's only like the very edges. I think I'm probably going to lose a fingernail. I've copped some trees quite heavily on the arm, so I haven't got the standard handguards on purely because we've got so much controls on the handlebars. So I probably should have had some kind of protection for my hands. I just thought just use some really good gloves, but that didn't really work.
It's been pretty green around Western Australia this year, and flying over it's looked really green, and it looks pretty green out there in the fields, plenty of wildflowers. And Colin, looks like you got half of it in your bike, so it looks more like a bird's nest in there.
Yeah, I think that's why they send the quads through before the cars, just so we can clear the road for them.
That oil cooler doesn't look like it's going to be too efficient. Looks like it's fairly stacked up. No wonder you're getting a bit of heat in different parts of your engine.
Well, right at the very last stage when I pulled up to get my time card, went to start the bike again, and it came up with a high temp reading. So that's obviously why.
All right, so I'm feeling ecstatic about being pit crew tonight. Looks like we've got a bit of cleaning work to do. And you've got various gauges all over the bars so you can keep an eye on these temperatures. Is that helping out this year?
Yeah, for sure. I was keeping a really close eye on the engine temperature. The coolant, I've got a sensor straight in there so I can read it. It looks like, I think it's got a top of about 107, so that's not too bad.
So you're cruising when you're in the wide open stuff, you're on 107 kilometres an hour, you're saying?
No, 107 degrees Celsius it's running at.
All right,
the temperature. So when the faster I go, the cooler it goes. The temperature drops down. I have noticed when I pulled up to repair the tyre, again when I switched it on, just the latent heat sitting there, it was again overheated. So the bike really needs the water pump running and the air going through it to keep it cool.
Especially when you've blocked up all the coolers and radiators and stuff.
Yeah.
So just for your race fans out there, what's the top speed of this bike?
Just under 150.
And what's a realistic speed you're out there doing today when you've never been there before? You're just belting down the tracks, giving it what for?
Oh, you could definitely. There's spots there. I actually had a bit of a tangle with Lounsey today. After I patched the tyre, he came up behind us and he overtook me, but then I overtook him again. So I can proudly say that I overtook Lounsey in this race. But
so what do we got for realistic top speed?
Top speed, and that's the thing. Like top speed, you could do 150. You can go on the roads. You can go as fast as the bike will go, But as I learnt this morning, you don't want to do that because you hold it pinned, it's just not going to make it to the whole 7 days. So the trick is just conserving the bike. You've got to allow for the variables too, like the kangaroos jumping out in front of you. There's holes, rocks. You've just got to concentrate on this much of the road, and that's it.
So you didn't have a perfectly clean run. I can see some the classic dog turds hanging out the tyre there, the rope plugs. You had a flat tyre?
Yeah, we had quite a few problems. Flat tyre was one of them. I was slightly geographically challenged was another issue. There was 2 or 3 spots, but one serious one where I think everybody took the wrong turn. So that was another issue that cost time. But yeah, as far as the bike goes, I had one puncture, and I think I'm first time I've ever raced with these tyres, so I think I'm still running, still learning the pressures to run in the tyres. We were running about 7. I think we need to bump it up to about 10 PSI.
Okay, well, look, that's still not a bad result too. I mean, one flat tyre in a day like today, that could be a best case scenario you could ever hope for.
The amount of rocks and trees and things that I hit, it's amazing. They are steel belted radials, so they're a very tough tyre, but it's still a little bit weak on the sidewall. I should have went with something with a bit more protection on the side.
All right, and what about the rest of the bike? We know you did the belt and stuff. Anything else? Everything else hung together all right?
As our team manager keeps telling us, it's always the aftermarket stuff we put on the bikes that's causing the problems, and it's really proven today. Ronwood exhaust, not only on my bike but on Adrian's, both we've had non-stop trouble with them. They're the new stainless steel ones. They're just not holding together. I think the stainless is too brittle. The other issue is the primary clutch. I've got an STM clutch in there that actually drives both sides, so we thought that'd be a better idea, but there's an issue with that. It's engaging but not disengaging, so I'm having to use the rear brake a lot to try and disengage it. It just makes, when you decelerate, it doesn't actually disengage the front clutch, so when you accelerate again out of that, it's just got no power, it bogs down, so it's really cost me some time. I'm going to put the standard one back in it tonight and just drive it by the gauge, by the temperature gauge.
All right, well, that sounds like a good idea to me. And like I said, folks, Colin's just rolled in, so he's just giving this feedback to the pit crew as we speak. And it looks like we're in for a long night, and probably more of changing back to standard stuff than anything else, just to try and get the reliability and longevity back into the race legs, get him out there in front.
It was a lot of fun, though.
All right, we're in Mount Magnet at the moment, and we're just going to bring the bike over and wash it down. Huge thanks to the local FISA, the local firefighter guys. They're here with the fire hoses helping everyone wash the bikes down and clean up. So this is something you're going to do every year, is it, or what?
We try to, yeah. Just helps raise community spirit as well, because we're all volunteers, so we don't actually get paid to come out and do this.
Well, personally, just from me, thanks very much, because I have to work on this thing afterwards.
That's it, mate. We're just trying to help. That's all.
John boy, you got time for a bit of homework? Haven't we got a serious race on here, mate?
Mate, that was brutal. It's the only word I can use for it, man.
So, well, you rolled back in. We haven't seen too many of the other quads back in, except the ones that are towed in. So, well done, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I spent an hour and a half repairing out there. Radiator absolutely filled up with grass seeds. So there was, it just spewed its guts out. I had to wait I couldn't work on it because it was burning my hands, so I had to wait for it to cool down. My exhaust bracket broke. I had to fix that with fence wire. The fence wire broke, so I had to ride until I found another fence so I could get some more fence wire, but there was a roll on the ground, so I didn't actually damage any fence.
Okay, so a bit of MacGyver action out there today, and you got it going. I did notice we just started on Colin's bike. I reckon I pulled a cubic metre of grass out of it. Good to have the local boys here washing it down for you.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to get any high pressure water, and I might just stick with the compressor. If you guys have got one handy, it'd be really nice, you know.
Look, we all do share things around the pits. That's a big part of safari. Unfortunately, mate, our compressor's pretty low volume, so I don't know if we'll be blowing out too many grass seeds, but you're welcome to have a crack at it.
Yeah, cool. We could even charge up my air tank and just give it a blast like that. Just persevere, mate. I persevered out there for hours. I'm sure we can make something happen now.
Well done today, mate. See ya. All right, guys, how's the bike looking? You're just checking out Maggots' bike and looks pretty clean, actually.
Well, we're just checking out the damage here for this afternoon's effort. Had a good morning, but this afternoon's not too good.
Yeah, he told us he was up to a bit of MacGyver work in there with the fencing wire.
Broken exhaust bracket, block radiator.
So we're just hatching a plan to see whether we can get this thing back on the road, I reckon.
Yeah, well, it is only day one.
Yeah, we'll get him back going again, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, good work. Straight at him. He's only just rolled in, so yeah, looking a bit dusty. Maybe not as grassy as the other guys. So you might have kept it on the track a bit better.
Yeah, I tried. Got lost a few times, but yeah, no, it was definitely a day's ride, that's for sure.
No mechanicals, mate? Physically, the bike all okay?
For this leg, yes. I've had exhaust issues at the start of the ride and blowing a belt, but other than that, this last swing's been good.
All right, well, it was longer and harder out there this afternoon, so maybe you're learning as you're going, because that's a pretty good result.
Just taking it a little bit easier, riding 9 tenths, 8 tenths sometimes in the rough stuff. Long way to go, so.
Yeah, you've got to finish it to win it, don't you? Good work, mate.
Thank you.